With the NHL trade deadline slowly creeping up, an NHL Insider released two goaltenders that might be on the move, and we'll break them down coming up on this episode of Hattrick HQ. But before we get into it, just want to say that 81.3% of you guys watching this aren't subscribed, so if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button, because we'll be here every day bringing you NHL content. But with that said, let's get right into the first topic of the video, which is goaltending market is heating up. And as we take a look here from Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman, he said the market for goaltenders is drawing more interest. And one of these goaltenders is Elvis Merzlikins from the Columbus Blue Jackets. He says he has not requested a trade, but he and the Blue Jackets have agreed to find a new scenario for him. I love Columbus. I love these guys. I grew up here, is what he said. He also says, I'm not a backup goaltender. And he also goes on to say here, this was from the coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. He said that Merzlikins will be on the bench Saturday versus Seattle as Daniil Tarasov is the backup. And he says they asked him about Merzlikins, saying that he and the club agreed to pursue a new scenario, and Vincent said that's above his pay grade. And they also go on, we see here that Elvis Merzlikins' stats for this season, he has been playing great hockey here in Columbus this year. 7 wins, 8 losses, and he's averaging a .907 save percentage this season. And then we go on to see here that Kevin Weeks put up a tweet saying with the eye emoji to have a look at Elvis Merzlikins, implying that a trade may be coming. But he did also put up another tweet about another goaltender with the exact same caption, and that is Jacob Markstrom of the Calgary Flames, to keep an eye on him as he might be traded as well coming trade deadline. And we also see here, obviously, Jacob Markstrom has been a veteran goalie in the NHL, has been having a great season here in Calgary with a .910 save percentage, 12 wins, 11 losses. But Mark, I mean, this is a lot of information to take in, as always. But I mean, there's two big goaltenders here, two number one goaltenders in my eyes that could potentially be moved here at the deadline and could really help out some of these contending teams that really need to solidify their goaltending.
Yeah, when you kind of look at Elvis to start with, this is a guy that I believe is 29 years old. He has 4 years left on his deal at $5.4 million per year. The 4 years would include this year, so 3 after this season. But this is a guy that's kind of been benched a bit. We've seen the kind of situation with him and Tom Wilson, and since then he hasn't had a lot of playing time. So it seems like him and the Columbus Blue Jackets organization are looking to kind of make a move, get him out of there, just find a new situation, like the tweet says, just get him into a new scenario. This is a team that's 8th in the division, and they aren't really in a playoff hunt at all. So maybe getting a couple draft picks, prospects, whatever it might be, coming back, kind of retool, go for it again next year once you get some of your prospects into a better situation, and when they start to improve a bit more, is the best sense for Columbus. And I do think a lot of teams are going to be interested. I mean, this guy's going to be 33 at the end of his year, at the end of this deal. But then you look at Markstrom, who's on a $6 million contract. 3 years, that includes this year, so 2 after this year, and he's already 33 years old as well. Both goalies are starters, in my opinion. Markstrom's more of a cemented starter. He's been a starter with the Vancouver Canucks, Calgary Flames, but with the emergence of a guy like Dustin Wolf and Dan Villard just being there as a backup, I think they're going to look for a retool, kind of move on, and just kind of put the net in the rookie's hands. Just let Dustin Wolf get his starts, let him improve. He's shown that he can play at every level except for the NHL yet, and I think it is his time to kind of prove himself and make himself a starter in this league.
Yeah, when you look at it, the Blue Jackets are kind of in limbo right now. They're kind of same thing as Calgary. They're both kind of in limbo whether they're going to go into a rebuild, whether they're just going to go all out and try to be contenders. But I mean, both teams have been struggling, but their goaltending hasn't been the issue. Like Merzlikins, in my eyes, is a starter. He is a 1A goaltender, and like you said, if you find him a new scenario, give him a new home. Really do think that he could break out of this slump he's in right now and really be a great goaltender again. Because I really like this guy. I think he's a great goaltender in this league, and finding him a new home home where he can go in and just shut it down, be lights out for a team could really help him. And like you said with Markstrom, we know what you're going to get with this guy. He's a solidified goaltender in this league. He's going to go in there. He's going to make some game-saving stops every game. He's going to keep you into the game. And I really do think maybe finding him a home on a contending team could be a great landing spot for him. But we're going to get into just that, and that is which teams would really need a goalie to trade for, a 1A goalie like this. And the team that immediately comes to my mind, Mark, is the Carolina Hurricanes. I mean, they are, Peter Kochetkov, I believe he's out on percussion protocol right now. Their goaltending has kind of been shaky this year. Both goalies under 900, I do believe. So maybe bringing in one of these guys as a 1A could really help this team out. And, going the other way, you get a few prospects, maybe a few future round picks, and Carolina can kind of go for a Stanley Cup push.
Yeah, the big thing with Carolina, Freddie Anderson was out as well, and it seems like he's kind of getting pushed back in his timeline on a return, and that leaves it with Antti Raanta, who has not been good for Carolina at all. So if it comes down to Raanta being the only goalie there, then you're kind of forced in bringing up an AHL guy that might not be ready. And I think getting a guy like Merzlikins could be great. Obviously, Raanta or Freddie Anderson would have to go back in this trade to make the cap work. But this is a guy that you could really lean heavily on. Like I said, he is signed for multiple years. So this is not just a rental. This is, okay, we get this goalie. If he's a goalie of the future, this is outstanding. We get him at $5.4 million for the extended period of time. But the only issue with this, with a goalie with this much term, even though he is playing good on Columbus, and this is not a good defensive team in Columbus, and coming to Carolina would be a complete switch around, as this is one of the best defensive teams, or should be on paper. His numbers should go up, but if they don't, then you're kind of stuck in this situation with having this contract 5.4, and it could kind of push you back in the sense of you can't bring back more stars, add more pieces, but it's a win-lose. It's either you get a player that can win everything for you, or you get someone back that's going to take up a lot of cap space.
Yeah, and you kind of need to take a risk here if you're the Hurricanes in this situation. You got a great roster, like you said, one of the best defensive teams on paper in the entire NHL. This is a team who could easily push for a Stanley Cup. It seems like they've been in the mix a lot over recent years, so maybe getting a goaltender could really help them out here. But when you take a look at a guy like Jacob Markstrom, I mean, you know what you're getting with this guy. You kind of come in, he's going to be your 1A and really help this team out. But there is another team in my mind that could use a goaltender right now, and that is Colorado Avalanche. They have a guy there like Georgiev who have shown flashes to be great in the NHL at times, and I really do think maybe finding him a new home and bringing in one of these guys could really help that organization out.
The big thing with Georgiev and the Colorado Avalanche is I don't know how much money they're going to want to put into another goaltender. I mean, Georgiev is a guy that could trade, but I can't see one of these teams in the Flames or Columbus taking back another goalie, especially if Georgiev, who wants to be a contender. He wants to be on these teams to win. So I could see the Avalanche maybe riding this out, maybe going and grabbing a backup. But at this current moment, I can't see them being too active. They might be active, but I can't see them paying too much to take on term on a goalie like these.
Yeah, it all depends on what this team wants. If they want to be in the mix again this year, if they have full faith in Georgiev that he can get them through this playoffs and hopefully compete for a Stanley Cup. But if there's any doubt, that they might have to take a risk here and try to bring in one of these guys, because I really do think like Elvis can be a hot goaltender. I think he could get you through the playoffs and really light it up. And obviously we've seen this with Markstrom in the past. He's been a great goaltender. So like the situation here is, you know what you're getting for Markstrom. You might have to pay a little bit more to get him, but you might have to take a risk on a guy like Merzlikins to bring him in. Maybe a little bit, it'd be a little bit cheaper, but you are taking a risk on a guy that you don't really know what you're getting. He has been great this year, over a 900 save percentage, but he could be better once he gets there, or he could struggle a little bit.
Yeah, because with Georgiev, I believe it's a 916 save percentage he had just last season. This year he has a below a 900. So I think they're really banking on him kind of having a bounce back, kind of changing things around after the All-Star break or trade deadline. Because I know their main focus right now is for that second line center. There is a lot of rumors going around that Lindholm is a guy they're targeting. So they might go out there, do a massive package move, and as much as they can to bring in a guy like Markstrom and Lindholm. I think that would shake the entire league up and almost really put them into the favorites. But other than that, I think they're going to focus on their second line center first. And then when things comes around, I think is when they'll start looking at the goalie options if things do get to that point.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've discussed the teams that I'm thinking that are looking for a goaltender. Is there any teams like in the back of your mind that you think may go out and get one of these guys?
I definitely think the Devils are going to be looking at this. This is a young team that's up and coming. They've had shaky goaltending. Vincent Vanacek hasn't been great at all. Dawes has been kind of underwhelming as well. So I could see them maybe going out, getting a guys like Merzlikins. This is a young New Jersey team that's up and coming. They want to compete for the years to come. So maybe taking a swing on a guy like Merzlikins that they can have as their goalie for the next 3 to 4 years, kind of use this to complete, go for a cup. I think it's an awesome spot that they could be in if they can acquire a guy like this, especially with it being known that Merzlikins and the Blue Jackets do want to move him. I think it does drop his value a tiny bit as well. And I know everyone's going to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. Clearly, Martin Jones has been starting for the past 6, 7 games. He's been good, but I don't think they need to panic and move assets for another goalie. Samsonov is due for a bounce back if that happens, whatever. And you also have Joseph Woll coming back. So you have 3 goalies to kind of take swings on, hope one of them pans out. And I think the bigger picture is they need to look for a defenseman, a right-handed defenseman to be specific. So I think they'll be in the kind of sense of the Colorado Avalanche where they're going to be looking to fill that need. And once that right-handed defenseman need is filled, I think they'll swing back and look at the market again.
Yeah, I'm just going to go back to the Devils here. I really do think that the best landing spot for a guy like Merzlikins is the New Jersey Devils. Like you said, they're an upcoming team. They're kind of looking for a goalie who's kind of going into their prime right now to get them through, the glory years, as you could say, with guys like Jack Hughes and Dougie Hamilton and all this, going into maybe being cup contenders over the next couple of years. So you bring in a younger goaltender here in Merzlikins, a guy who's going into his prime, a guy who's proven in Columbus to be a great goaltender. You put him back in this New Jersey team, and I really do think that this could, revitalize his career, and I do think New Jersey could be, contending for a cup in the coming years.
Yeah, the crazy thing is all these teams we listed need goalies, and there's so many other teams also on the outside. I know the Oilers kind of have things figured out with Stuart Skinner. He does look incredible, but anything can happen between now and trade deadline. So one of the teams we listed might not be the home destination for both these players, but I'm willing to put money on both of these players will be moved, if that's today, tomorrow, next week, at trade deadline, at the cutoff point. One of the or both of these guys will end up being moved, and it's kind of exciting to see how this kind of propels some of these teams to the next level to really compete for these cups.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, like you said, over the coming weeks. What's going to happen here? The goaltending market is going to be picked upon during trade deadline. It's going to be really fun to see which goalies go to which teams and stuff like this. It's going to be really fun. But we're going to hear from you guys down in the comment section. Where do you think these guys are going to land come trade deadline? Let us know down below in the comments. Do you think they're going to be traded? Do you think they're not going to be traded? Let us know. But we're going to get in everybody's favorite topic here, and that is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to our boy Daniel. Shout out to you, Daniel, day one supporter here on the channel. Always appreciate seeing your comments in the comment section down below. He said trade deadline days before is going to be massive. I think a lot of big deals, and I couldn't agree with you more, Daniel. I think what's slowly creeping up on us is trade deadline, and it's really going to be fun to watch. I mean, there's going to be a lot of deals dealt out. A lot of contending teams are going to be trying to add some guys to bolster their roster going into the playoffs. It's going to be a fun one to watch. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to go down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Like we said, we're on the road for 3,000 subscribers, so if you're not subscribed already, go down below and hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoy the NHL, make sure to check out this video that's popping up on your screen right now. But as always, I've been your host, KC, alongside my co-host, Mark Pye. Keep your stick on the ice.